Hello? Hi? Is it still a blank screen? Can you guys hear me? Oh, wait. I see. Okay, you see Corvo. You see? Hi, hi. It's him. Okay, for some reason, my starting screen is just yes, yes, it's got a 3D model now. We are no longer 2D, but the 2D is still there. His voice, it's really him. It's me. It's me. How's the audio for everybody? A very beautiful model, just like you. Ah, Wait, how do I do that? Thank you, everyone. Thank you for the comments. Thank you. Oh, you're making me blush. It has actually been over five. Oh, wait, wrong one. It's actually been over 5 months. I've counted. Okay, the video download was canceled. Please try again. That seems. Uh, huh? I still can't. Okay, so apparently Twitch side is not working for some reason. That's strange. As error that keeps showing me. Yeah, I don't know why Twitch isn't working for me. Twitch, go to red side. Yeah, Twitch is down for you. That's what I thought. I think it's because I reset my password and I haven't redone the thing on the OBS since I did that a couple weeks ago. My bad. Yeah, go to red side. I'm sorry. You're gonna have to the first wait, where's my sad expression? No, that's my serious one. Window sounds? What bad Corvo? Listen. It's been 5 months and it's been so hard for me. Truly. You're gonna have to do the first world problem of pressing like two buttons to go over to a different site in order to watch this amazing content. Yeah, I know, you're just kidding. My apologies for the purple site not working. I'll have to fix that at a later date when I actually finish moving, but I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm getting ahead of myself. Imagine watching on Twitch. Yeah, I know. But get a load of those weirdos over there. Oh yeah, what a bunch of freaks, am I right, fellas? Pressing two buttons. That's impossible. YouTube is better than hunting. Like, I'm actually going to talk about this. I will stay until my steak streak goes up. You know what? That's valid. Super freaks. Okay, I'm gonna end. I'm gonna end it on the purple side because apparently that's not working, and I'll have to check out the VOD to see what's going on with that. But here's the deal, chat. Here, for those of you who are wondering, like, what the heck has been going on, hello, Beast, hello, Kai, hello, Vincent, hello, Daggy, hello, Transgender Treebog, hello, Ethorn, hello, all Dark Bum, and all my other lovely VOD watchers and stuff like that. And wait, what do you mean, wait? What do you mean, wait? What happened? What? Did I do something? Are we still here? I, it worked a sec. You're kidding me. No way. No way that the purple started working the moment I ended it. Wait a minute. Should I restart on purple side? It worked for okay, hold on. If I'm gonna give it okay, I'm gonna start it on the purple side again. I'm gonna start it on the purple side again. Refresh before you end it. It worked. Okay. I'm gonna start the purple side again. Okay. And if it doesn't work within the next like 5 to 10 minutes, then I'm just gonna have to go without the purple side. Okay. People wonder why I prefer YouTube over purple side. Okay, here's the deal. Here's the deal. Oh wow, oh wow. Yeah, I listen. Gotcha. Hey, listen. I'm gonna get into it. Into a little bit here. This is not gonna be a very long stream. Because of the fact that maybe give it 5 minutes. Yeah, I'm gonna give it like 5 to 10 minutes or so. It gets time for ads to play and stuff like that. But here's the deal, guys. I've been gone for 5 or so months. Okay. 5 or so months. And I'm very appreciative that all of you guys are down here and saying hello. But I wanted to say, first of all, thank you so much for all the support. Thank you so much for checking in, making sure I'm okay. 5 months too long, I know. But I have good reason. I have good reason. I have good reason. I have good reason. And I'm gonna get to it. I actually prepared a whole presentation. Okay. I prepared a one, a two, a three. That's not it. Uh Wrong tab. Going over here. Okay. Okay. Hold on. Let me actually, how do I, oh God, I forgot how to move my model in Warudo. Let's see. There we go. There we go. There we go. I like me a presentation. You're gonna get a presentation. You're gonna get a presentation. This is the presentation right here, ladies and gentlemen. Here it is. Here it is. Are we still good on the purple side? I can't. I don't know what's going on over there. Okay, I can't be bothered to open up another tab. Getting spoiled with a whole presentation. Indeed, indeed. It's gonna be a whole 7 slides of amazing content for you all. Hold on, let me actually bring in my presentation over here. Da, 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 da. Let me get let me do this. He acknowledged the stuff before the stream. Yes, indeed, I did. A very long overdue spiel, suffice to say. Now here's the deal. Where the hell? First of all, is Purple Side okay? I don't want to proceed the moment the purple side just so happens. Your mom reminds me of Wolf Among Us art. I love it. That's exactly the. It's okay. Okay. So a little bit of a distraction. I'm getting off track here. Let me get my ADHD out of the way. My model was inspired by three like art styles and like just styles in general. One was the Wolf Among Us. Two was Borderlands, and three was, of course, as you might have guessed, JoJo. And the Wolf Among Us 2, please, fingers crossed. You can't see, but fingers crossed, it comes out soon. That was the main inspiration in terms of the art style that I handed the artist, who is named V Lightning. I believe you can see her just stuff in the description. If not, I will have to change that. And she did such a phenomenal job on it. I really can't wait to get some good hand tracking as well, so you guys can actually see my hand movements as well in the future. But she did such a phenomenal job. I always see the Borderlands exploding your mono is so good. Wolf Among Us better come out. A crash out of it doesn't say here. Telltale, please, please. Oh my God. But yeah, I'm gonna get into gaming stuff in just a moment here. But I'm gonna give Purple Side about 2 more minutes. If it doesn't work on Purple Side, I'm sorry, but we're gonna have to cut off the Purple Side. I'm sorry. You're gonna have to be cut out from the family. Telltale, please. Exactly. Thank you, Telltale. I'm begging. I'm just begging for some good like RPG kind of ordeal here. Oh, by the way, Kai, I have some D&D stuff to tell you later. I just forgot to do so because something happened with hysteria. Wink. Every time I blink, it's technically a wink, but that's just the way my model is. Yeah. But yeah, if Purple Sight does not come back in about 30 seconds, so I'm just gonna cut my losses for Purple Sight. Well, my streak went up. Okay, you know what? That's good enough for me. You know what? Bye, Purple Sight. Okay, bye, Piper Sight. Apparently that's not working. Apologies for the Purple Sight viewers. Purple Sight not not working. Go to red side or I will cry. Okay, JK. So, for those of you on the red side, uh, first of all, again, thank you guys so much for your patience, your understanding, for checking in. And I wanted to take this stream, just a short little stream, for about it's gonna probably gonna run this for about an hour or an hour or two at most. Just to catch up with you guys, let you guys know what I've been up to, what I've been doing, what I am going to do. Kind of similar to when I had to go to another hiatus I took it earlier. Uh, but thankfully, this one is actually good news. So, first of all, where the fuck have I been? Super scuff, unpracticed, overdue, spiel. So first of all, here's just the TLDR in case you just want to pop in, wonder what's going on, then just pop out, okay? TLDR. One, first of all, I had to lock in on finishing out university strong, meaning I wanted to finish out the classes that I needed to in order to, complete the classes that I needed to graduate with a strong enough grade, which I have really good news. Uh, the last two classes that I needed to take were two foreign language classes, and I decided to take ASL. I had ASL 111 and then 211. I officially finished out, I did my last assignment for ASL 211. I finished out both classes with an A, and that means I am officially set to graduate this August. But in terms of like assignments and stuff like that, today was my final day. I literally took the final this morning and I got like a 94 on it. So, yay! I am officially done with my undergraduate education. I will officially be getting my 2 bachelor degrees. I would be pressing buttons to celebrate, but I don't really have that right now. I'm still going to turn off Boss Sansa because I got my own thing, and I paid good money for that. Yes, I officially have my bachelor's in political science science. Yeah, okay, so for those of you unaware, I study at actually I'm gonna wait until I move until I say that. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait. So I have a bachelor's degree in political science with a minor in psychology, and I have a bachelor's degree in multidisciplinary studies with an emphasis in creative writing, professional writing, and philosophy. So five separate disciplines, mostly in the humanities. I think actually no, almost all in the humanities. Well, unless you count is psychology counted as a humanity? I'm gonna have to look into that. I'm not sure if it's like I guess it could be qualified as that. MG Corvo me too on the political science. Hey, fellow political science, Ophi, let's go. I don't see a lot of my fellow political science people. Basically, Corvo was swamped. Yeah. Okay, and that's actually something I'm gonna get into. That's just for the university side. But going over to point number two, I needed an actual break for my mental health. I have been swamped with just a ton of different things, and I have not given myself enough time to, relax. Like I've had time off, quote unquote, but as something that I talk to with like people when I've like, chatted about like my future and like how I've been feeling, there's a difference between time off and high quality time off. I was not taking high quality time off. My quote unquote time off was me just working towards something else instead of actually taking time for myself. Number three, I needed time to prep for wait, where's my fucking fear expression? The J word. I had to go. I had to do a J word search, and it was so scary out there. And I also had to. I also had to prep for a move that's across the country. And number four, I couldn't study well, take time for myself. J word again. J word. Hunt, prep for moving, handle other obligations such as familial obligations and stuff like that, and do VTubing all at once. I need to do that too, so I can't laugh either. Yeah, I need the J word to find me. Yeah, you know what? That's so valid. At the moment, God, LinkedIn. I'm gonna have to tell you guys some of the LinkedIn horror stories I've been through later on. My God. But number five. So, as a result of all of like the things at point number four, I decided to take another hiatus, and I decided that I wouldn't like time myself on it because of the fact that I felt if I timed myself, I would have not really have gotten that sabbatical that I really needed to. But no, that leads me to point number six. I do plan on coming back. So that's the TLDR, okay, Chad? That's the TLDR. Now the I tried LinkedIn, that was a mistake. I feel like unfortunately it got to in this day and age. I've gotten some good results from LinkedIn, and I'm gonna get into the specifics of it. But here, that's just the TLDR here for the stream. If you just want the basic, bare minimum in terms of like what I've been doing, why I went away, and like what's gonna happen in terms of like my future stuff like that as a creator, this is basically it. But here's the more nitty gritty details. But first, I'm gonna take a sip. Handshake was also, oh my God, don't even get me started on Handshake. Oh my God. God, Handshake. Handshake, I feel like at the first part of my undergrad year was not too bad in terms of finding internships and like pro fellowships and stuff like that. Now, ever since it went down the AI route, it is filled, it's moderated so poorly. My God. I do actually recommend using Indeed. I 100% using recommend Indeed 100%. In terms of like the application to interview ratio that I've had in terms of like the resumes I submitted, cover letters, et cetera, et cetera. I've had more return on Indeed than I've had on LinkedIn, Handshake, and Glassdoor, and all of them combined. But let me go ahead and get over towards this third thing. Number one, I am indeed graduating from college. Listen. I know that joke is cringe and stuff like that, but I've been working my ass off for this degree for 3.5 fucking years. Let me have that little joke, okay? God, the AI situation keep getting worse and it's exhausting. This is coming from a guy who does not super despise AI, mind you. Yeah, and actually the AI topic is something I'm going to touch on later when it comes to content stuff. I'm not going to be doing AI content. I'll be doing that. It's more towards commentary slash debate and stuff like that. But I'll get to that in just a moment. First of all, I'm finally done with college. Asterisk undergrad college. Okay. I am going to do graduate school. I'm not going to say where I'm going to go, but I will say I will be pursuing a master's in public administration. I won't be saying what I'll be doing a concentration or minor in just yet because I don't know if that will dox me or not. Considering I don't know how specific that certain program is, but I do plan on doing my master's in the future. But I'm not doing it right now. No, I'm not starting up this fall. I very well could. I've had a few offers come my way because of the grades and the connections I've made, but I don't want to do that. Okay, I really don't want to do that. I would want to take at least one, maybe two gap years because I am burnt out of academics. Don't get me wrong. I love, I love learning. I love academia. I love just doing all of that, but I'm burnt out, okay? I've been giving it my all in addition to a bunch of other things for like the past, oh God, what's it been like 3.5-ish years, almost 4. I'm a bit tired, okay? I want to take some time for myself and do some other projects that I been put on the back burner because I couldn't do that in addition to university. I do not intend to graduate from VTubing as of right now. Somebody tells me this guy likes academies. Yes, I do. I very much do. Even though, like, don't get me wrong. I think that post-secondary, actually the whole educational system within the US is a very broken system that needs a lot of work down. But I love learning. I can't sit here and pretend that despite all the flaws, I like hate academia or that I hate learning or that I hate the process or, think it's like a flawed, broken institution that has no redeeming qualities. I love academia, even with all of its flaws. They absolutely do need to be worked on, 100%. I love it. Don't graduate, Corvo. Don't go, or else I'll cry. I'm not going to graduate. Well, it takes a toll on you, even when you like it. Education, yeah. I've lost you. I can't do school like that anymore. It's tough, but again, I learn it. I just get burnt out when doing like juggling a bunch of stuff, and it's just like for so long. But here's the thing. Uh, what was it? So yeah, in terms of graduation, as of right now, I don't intend to graduate, and I don't intend to graduate for the next few years. But I'm not going to sit here and make a promise to you people, and I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. I'm not going to sit here and make a promise to you people that I will never ever graduate. I find that to be irresponsible of me because there is absolutely no way that I can predict the future from, God knows however long. Like, yes, I love content creation. Yes, I love streaming. Yes, I love making videos. Yes, I love chatting with you guys. But at the same time, I'm like 26. The notion that I'm going to sit here and be like, I will never ever graduate and I will never stop ever doing VTuber ever ever is fucking absurd. Like, yeah, as much as I wish I could make that promise, like at some point, I'm gonna have to at least scale it back, you know? I respect that. Yeah. What does it mean to graduate from VTubing? Basically, graduation from VTubing, as a, some people have some varying definitions upon it. Like some people, quote unquote, graduate, but then come back under a different alias. To me, when I say graduation, that means just a full stop in terms of like VTubing activities, period. Okay. It gets to a point where you got to keep it real. Exactly. Exactly. But yeah, some people see graduation as like, oh, I stopped VTubing, period. But then they just go under a different alias. Some people see define graduation as just going into a hiatus, but they don't know when they're going to come back. So they just graduate. Uh, but for me, graduation means like full stop. You don't come back. You just don't ever do VTubing ever again. That's what graduation to me means. I'll be 24 this year, and I thought about graduating VTubing already. I mean, that's totally valid. I mean, I can't fault people for that. And again, this is something I'll talk in more depth on, not within this stream, but within another thing. Wink. Also about graduation, in terms of corporate agency, you basically retire as the role you got. Sometimes it means a hiatus or full on retirement. Exactly. That's exactly what Dark Bomb is talking about there. For agency, agency creators and agency independent creators, sorry, graduation can mean two completely separate things. For me, again, as I said earlier, it just means that you full on stop. That's what graduation means to me. I have some knowledge, yeah. So if it's an indefinite hiatus, we got a chance. Exactly, yeah. So you're saying there's a chance. You're saying there's a chance, right? That depends, really. Yeah, it honestly really depends. But that's a clarification on that front. Let me go over here. Let's see. Here's another thing in terms of like where I've been and like why I decided to take such a break and for so long and haven't really been talking in terms of my Discord and talking with you guys on socials, etc., etc., I've had a lot of mental health issues, but in parentheses, I do feel much better now. In terms like I want to be very clear, it's not like I was having, unaliving ideation or anything like that. Nothing super serious, but I was mainly dealing with burnout and I was also being dealing with being overworked and just sort of like I guess like to an extent a depressive episode as well. Uh it just you can see from the bullet points like number one thing I learned after talking with a psychiatrist and a therapist is that after taking like some journals and like talking with them and the like, I learned that I may, big emphasis on may have a mood disorder. Okay. I may have it. There's a lot of things that I discussed with medical professionals, psychologists, therapists, psychiatrists, et cetera, regarding my behaviors, what I felt, and stuff like that, what I've been dealing with for the past few years. And a lot of it indicates towards stuff like bipolar disorder, cyclothymia, et cetera, et cetera. But due to the fact that I actually lost my healthcare uh, when I turned 26, I haven't been able to visit any doctors to confirm or get a diagnosis or further pursue that route. So that was just kind of dropped off on me. And I was just like, well, when you get healthcare and can afford it again, hopefully you can return and we can get that started off on you. I was like, okay, so I'll just deal with that little piece of knowledge from there on out. And a lot of blue crap that life throws your way. Off topic, but I hope you and Pebbles are okay. God dang, really sorry, Corvo. Don't be sorry for me. Don't be sorry for me. Just because I may have a mood disorder or some kind of, impairment with my mood or mental processes and stuff like that does not make me be somebody that you should have pity on. All right. Don't be looking down on me or with pity. I'm just like the same old Corvo. Let's see. Second thing. I have not given much time for myself. I kind of touched on this a little bit earlier in the TLDR, but again, there's a difference between high quality time alone. Oh, I was talking about the healthcare. Oh yeah, you're 100%. Yeah, sorry, I misunderstood. My apologies. Uh, but yeah, I do plan on getting healthcare soon. Through a good word, you dramatic thunder noises. I haven't given much time for myself. As I touched upon earlier, there's a difference between high quality time alone and just time that you say you're going to be taking off and then just end up doing something else and not actually taking time off. The latter was more so my issue. Uh, I'm going to get onto that. I'm going to get back to that because it actually plays into the next few bullet points there. I felt that I have to wait to get officially diagnosed with ADHD, PTSD, severe depression, sleep apnea, and insomnia. Yep, I feel that. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if I have ADHD as well. I would not be surprised. 100%. As if you couldn't tell by the way I am communicating this stream with you all. I'm just excited, okay? I'm excited to talk to you guys. It's been a while. So resting versus vacation difference then? Pretty much, yeah. Third bullet point. I forced myself to do VTubing even when I didn't want to. Again, I love doing content creation. I love doing VTubing. I like streaming. I like making videos. I like writing scripts and stuff like that. But when you're doing this in combination to everything else I've been doing for the past few years, like, the next bullet point, doing 50 to 60-hour weeks for the past 3 years, almost every other week, it's crazy. Yeah. Hello, been missing you. I guess asking how are you is pointless, hence the whole point of the stream, huh? Well, thank you, Therian. I think that's you, Therian. I can't tell because all of your the username symbols are, I think, in Russian. I apologize. But yeah, I'm actually doing good now. I'm just updating the chat here in terms of like mental health, which you came in just at the right time, my friend. But yeah, for context, for the past, I would say 3 to 3.5 years, about 20 hours of my week have been spent towards university. About another 20 to 30 hours when you factor in like streams and like talking with other people, interacting on socials, have been dedicated to VTubing. And then another 20 hours have been doing, basically, 20 to 25-ish hours part-time work. And then another 10 or so hours for like personal work that I have to deal with as like living as a single adult. So easily like 50 to 60-hour weeks every single week for the past 3 years. Hence a lot of feeling of overworked and overwhelmed. Yes, this me Ethereum. I see. I think it's Dennis Big. Yes, this Ethereum. Awesome. Glad I was right. Glad I was right. So yeah, that mean, as a result of me having to take on so much onto my plate in order to complete things on a timeline that I wanted, specifically in terms of my university stuff, I have not really given a lot of time for myself, and thus I've just been in an almost like sort of perpetual state of burnout that has fluctuated in terms of my energy levels for the past few years. Welcome in, yeah, welcome in. Um, but these past few months, I've decided to give myself some grace, give myself some time, learn how to protect my peace and draw some boundaries, being like, hey, no, I actually can't do that for you. Being like, hey, no, I can't actually hang out right now. Hey, no, I can't actually talk to you right now. Um, and just start doing things. Yeah, 50-hour week minimums. Yeah, it's just what I had to do in order to complete, the stuff that I wanted to do at the timeline I set for myself, and also to the sort of standard that I set of myself as well, which, thankfully, as a result of this, it's finally paid off, and I'm in a really good position in terms of my professional and academic, slash graduate career right now, to where I don't have to do that again if I don't want to. But yeah, I'm thankfully that's not something I have to worry about too much. Sadly, I'm not able to watch the whole thing, but I get overworked. Park. I did almost comically stupid hard labor, like 12 hours, 5 days. Yeah, I said my condolences. Yeah, you guys get me. Sometimes you just have to lock in and be on the grind and stuff like that. But thankfully, I am now in a position to where I no longer have to do that, or at the very least, I am not planning to do that to myself. For context, I don't plan on doing grad school full time. I plan on doing it full time whenever I get around doing it. So that way I can make things a bit more manageable for myself, especially considering I'll be a full time J word participant. But I also learned a lot in terms of just like drawing boundaries and learning how to protect my peace in terms of not letting, this sort of external feeling that I had in terms of like, oh, I'm obligated to do this as a creator, or I'm obligated to do this because I did this, or because this is the person I tried to be in this sort of setting here. And I feel a lot better now. I really do. I really do. Like the 5 month sabbatical that I took was so necessary. And I feel like you guys can like hear it in the sound of my voice. Like and this is something I noticed when going back on the VODs that I was like, really struggling kind of like mentally dealing with. I'm not sure how good of it I did of a good job that I did. I'm sorry, J word. How good of a J word I did in terms of like masking sort of like the frustration, irritation, and like depression I had when I was streaming a couple months ago. But like when I look back on it, I can definitely tell that was like on the more irritable side and kind of like going along the lines of like, oh, I feel like I'm streaming because I have to stream. I stream because, I gotta, do like this amount of hours per week in order to not be forgotten, stuff like that. And at this point, I'm sort of in the phase of like, you know what? I'm gonna do what I want, when I want, how I want. And mental health care is almost non-existent concept for me. So don't be like me. Take care of yourself, please. Yes, I sound less tired, so to speak. Yes, yes, yes. I sound actually lively now. But yeah, I will be taking care of myself. And this is something I'll talk about a little bit later in the presentation in terms of like my actual content plans here. But this enough of the mental health aspect of it, because I feel like I've conveyed what I've wanted to convey, and I feel like you guys got like a basic understanding. Also, if you guys have any questions or want to raise any topics for me, feel free to do so. This is a democracy. You guys are free to participate. Also, really good news in addition to graduation from university stuff. I'm moving! Yay! And cue the clapping sound. I am moving. I'm not gonna be in redacted anymore. I'm gonna be in redacted place number two. I'm not gonna say where I'm moving or where I'm at currently. Okay. I may say when I'm moving, when I'm like completing the move and stuff like that. I may say where I am currently at when I am done because of the fact that I'm very interested in making a video about how my specific state and living in it has shaped me not just as a person but also as a creator. I'm really interested in doing that, but I'm also kind of like cautious about it because I'm like, oh wait, what if I kind of use that information to cross reference it in order to be like malicious and stuff like that? I'm gonna have to put a little more thought into it. But anyways, I'm moving for J word. Again, cue scary thunder sounds. To be clear, I have not officially been extended a job offer as of yet, but I do have a few interviews cooked up. Um, Most of them are waiting until after I move to my new place. Fingers crossed I get one of them. But I do feel that with my current strategy, my credentials, and where I'm applying to, and with the place that I'm moving to having a bunch more job opportunities in a bunch of sectors compared to where I am right now, I'm feeling pretty confident. Even with today's job market, I'm feeling pretty okay, all for all intents and purposes. Hopefully, that's not me, cursing myself or the monkey paw curling. Fingers crossed still, but I still feel pretty confident. Also, I am also moving to redacted number two for grad school. As I touched upon earlier, I do plan to get my master's in public administration, but I am not doing so right now. I just realized that's a period after the exclamation mark. That's not supposed to be there. Uh, I do plan on doing that. I'm not going to be doing it full time like I did my undergrad stuff, and it's going to be much more. Schedule's going to be much more friendly. I'm going to make sure of that during my grad school studies rather than like it was in my undergrad for full clarification. And I'm also moving to for just like a fresh start because, and again, if I do ever make that video where I'm talking about where I'm living right now and how it's shaped me, like I do love where I'm at. Okay, I do, but also at the same time, I want a fresh start. I want to get out of here. Okay, it's not a good fit for me. There's not a lot of opportunity. It's done enormous contributions in terms of shaping my character, making me realize how the world is, how the world can be, how people can be, and how the people actually are in comparison to a lot of the noise that you hear online. But at the same time, I've been living down in this particular state where I've been raised for, I want to say, 23 to 24 years of my life, and I'm just kind of done with it. If it makes you uncomfortable, you don't have to do anything you don't want to. It's not a matter of feeling, discomfort at the idea of sharing what I've, mostly lived at slash where I'm currently at, slash where I was after the move. It's more so being like, oh, is it gonna be like risky for me to say like an actual location where I went to in terms of keeping my identity as Corvo versus my IRL identity separate? That's the main thing I'm gonna have to ponder and consider. So I'll have to revisit that. That's not on the highest list of priorities right now, due to like the move and and stuff like that. Like for context, in terms of like the move and stuff like that, I'm moving in like on the 27th, so like 3 or so days. Like literally right after this stream is done, I am shutting down my PC, cleaning it, giving everything a good wipe down, and putting it all into boxes. Okay, this is literally the last sort of thing that I am doing with my computer before the move. Okay. It's cutting it close. 2 days before my birthday. Well, happy early birthday! Happy early birthday! Everyone say happy early birthday in the chat right now. Hold on. Let me type this out. Happy early birthday. Oh, damn, that's a close date. Yeah, I know. VTuber found dead turns out to be a hoax. Yes, I've actually been a fake this entire time. I've been lying to you all. I'm just one of those grifters, you see? Man, you say? Yeah, happy early birthday. Generally, I'm so happy with you, Corvo, but I'm not done yet. You could be happier for me still and stroke my ego some more, Kai. Happy birthday, happy birthday, yeah. But I will come back or so, hopefully luck permitting, after the first week of August because it shouldn't take me too long to get set up. For context, all the stuff that I'm moving from my current apartment fits inside of my car. I have basically what would you imagine? Like imagine that average male living space meme, but actually true and also somehow worse. Like I've been living with the mentality of like, well, I don't want to buy furniture or stuff that I have to move in like a year or two because I'm gonna move away. So why buy it now? So I've been literally living with just like a mattress, a chair, desk, and that's it's that's pretty much the furniture I've had in my living space, and I've been living like that for the past like 2 years. And which thankfully, as of right now, it's paying off because I don't have to move a bunch of stuff and I don't have to hire movers or U-Haul or anything like that. But also at the same time, when I move, I'm gonna have to like order a bunch of stuff. Yeah, interior design. Okay, listen, I know how to decorate. I know interior decoration. I got a vision for my new place, and when y'all see it, y'all are gonna freak out. You guys are gonna love how it looks. I just haven't had the money. I've just been poor. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. The money that I was going to use to go to Offkai this year here was actually from my tuition refund. For context, the university I went to, every semester you were charged like a 300 to 350 meal plan that you could not opt out of. Okay. And the way it worked is that if you didn't spend it, if you graduated with it, all the money that you didn't spend would be refunded directly back into your bank account. So me being like, I prefer to cook at home anyways, you know, and the food on campus is kind of crappy and it costs way too much and the portions are garbage. I'm just gonna, you know, cook at home and not use the meal plan money. And then that's gonna be like my post graduation vacation money. And I was fully intending to use that meal plan refund to fund my, trip to Offkai this year as kind of like a post graduation gift to myself. But then I got hit with the reality of like, hey, you can move over here if you want. And I was like, do I want to go to Offkai or do I want to put this $1,500 towards like decorating what is like my first like actual real space? And I chose Aladdin. That's what I did. Meal plan A what? Yeah, we had that's a very typical thing in like the States. And typically it's not with like every institution slash university there, but and that's pretty typical in the States. Like I'm not sure if it's like always you're going to Offkai. No, well not this year, not this year, not this year. I'm not going to Offkai this year. But I'm making it one of my goals to where I can go next year. Fingers crossed. Again, fingers crossed. I want to go to at least one con, because I've always wanted to do it. I saw like one of my good acquaintances, Blaze at Midnight. Shout out to her if you guys haven't checked her out yet. She's freaking fantastic. We talk and she's you know absolutely genius and such a hard worker, and I admire her so much. She went to MomoCon recently, which was like in Atlanta, Georgia. And I was like, I want to go to that, but I got to study on my freaking academics. And then I saw Anime Con. I was like, I'm not even a big anime fan, but that seems like fun. And now Offcon, I was like, I want to go. And I've been wanting to go for many years, but I just never really did. I want to go too. Yo, Kai, listen right now. I'm making this offer to you. If you ever go to Offkai or want to go to Offkai, hit me up. I'm glad to hang out with you. Okay? I'm glad to do that because I want to hang out. I guess like the thing was like I want to go to Offkai in the future with people. I don't want to just go by myself because I fear if I go by myself, what I'm going to end up doing is saying I'm going to hang out with a bunch of people, and then I just kind of resort back to my introverted self, and then never actually talk to people and just kind of hang out awkwardly in the corner. That's my life story. That's my life story. You know that meme with like the dude with the party hat in the background, like in the corner with everyone else dancing. It's like no one else knows I'm a VTuber. For me, it's like no one else knows I'm a VTuber, wants to hang out with people, but is too socially anxious slash awkward to like disturb anyone. I feel like the moment I open my mouth and say hello, they're all gonna look at me like that, like that meme with like all the girls, with, like the red cups going like, that's what I fear like. I got you, Corvo. I'll yap your ears off. Hey, I'll take it. Like your JS is to be the same. Down, yeah. We beat Yappertons. Yeah, yeah. Uh, but yeah. Anyways, I will be back within the first week of August, in terms of like actually going back to content creation. But you may be asking yourself, Corvo, you said before you took your hiatus you want to do less streams and more videos. Is that still the case? What kind of videos did you want to do? What kind of streams did you want to do? How long you wanted to stream? How long you want to do this? Yada 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 yada. If anything, I've had some interesting developments about my interests and what I really like. Oh, that's good. I'm glad to hear that. Hopefully, it's for the better. But here's the next. That brings me to my next slide. Why so many long hiatuses within the past year or so? Before I get over towards like the major event here, because I didn't want to just take this time to say like, hey, here's the reason why I went on hiatus here. Because for those of you who have been around for a while, especially people like Elias, Darkbomb, Taggy, you guys have been here for a very long time. Ethorn, Therian, and many of you FOD watchers, I imagine, have noticed that within the past like 3 years or so, I've had to take like a couple of hiatuses and stuff like that, just mainly due to a lot of factors outside of my control. First point, One, it was mainly due to university studies combined with academic burnout. That would I would say for me is the biggest reason and the biggest contributor as to why I've had to take so many breaks for such a extended period of time within the last couple of years. But as I said before, thankfully, that is no longer going to be the case, at least to the extent that it is right now. I'm not going to sit here and say like, oh, I'm never going to, have to take a stream off or like a week or two off for university stuff, or I'm never going to be academically burnt out ever again. Because again, I'm going to be heading to grad school within like a year or two, maybe. And, it's very likely that is going to be the case. But I'm not going to be overworking myself in the same way that I have done during my undergrad years. I put bell to butt and grinded my butt off for several years in order to get, certain opportunities. And now I have those opportunities. And, you know, fingers crossed, I don't have to do that again. Number two, mental health struggles was also a factor. Again, this contributed, as from a variety of factors, and I've talked about that extensively. Number three, uncertainty slash confusion about what to do as a VTuber and what I wanted out of VTubing as well. This is something I'm going to touch on in the last slide a lot. Yeah, that's unrealistic to think that nothing can stop you. A lot of things can stop you. Remember, got to keep it realistic. Yeah, exactly. Like I know, like a lot of creators, especially during these moments, in terms of their community and in terms of speaking to their community, tend to make these big promises, and there's nothing inherently immoral or criminal about that, but it is, you know, on its surface level to me, in just a logical, objective sense, unrealistic, right? And I don't see anybody wrong with going down that route and like using that as sort of like a standard to motivate themselves to ensure that even though they can't achieve 100% of like that vision, try and strive to you kind of like fulfill it as much as they can. But for me, I feel that keeping things realistic and, realistic but still optimistic is the best route for me. Number four, didn't give enough time for myself. Again, that kind of ties back to what I've been saying earlier. And number five, I've learned a lot about myself and what I want out of life these last few months. These last few months in particular, especially in terms of my professional and personal life, with my sort of graduation with undergrad coming up, I spent like the past like 3 years focusing on this one particular point in my life. And I found myself like as I was getting closer to it and as things were finally wrapping up, I was kind of like hit with this sort of dilemma slash thought of going like, oh, what now? I'm here. The doors are here. Which path do I actually take? You know? And thankfully, again, due to like the way I busted my butt from it in the last 3 years, I have a lot of doors open. I got a lot of opportunities on the table. I got a lot of credentials. I got a lot of good stuff on my resume. I'm not going to give the details of everything because, again, I don't want to dox myself. But, I'm in a pretty good position overall. And then I was sort of faced with a dilemma. It's like, okay, with this many opportunities, with this many doors, what do I actually want to do? Because when you live years of just basically going into survival mode, the moment you get merged from that, it's sort of like shell shock and almost like in a panic type of way, even though it's an objectively better state to be in. There's a lot of, again, uncertainty and confusion, not just from my creative side, but also from professional one, personal one as well. But I do, after a lot of soul searching and a lot of talking to my peers and my professors, and also with a lot of friends, I do have a pretty firm idea as to what I want to do in life. And not just in terms of a professional side of things, but also as a creator. Speaking of what I want to do as a creator, well, let me actually test this just to make sure we're still good. Okay. What is next for Corvo Apollo? Well, first things first, once I'm settled in the new place, I'm coming back to VTuber. Okay, I want to make that very clear. It I still don't know when exactly I'm gonna come back because it really just depends on factors outside of my control. Like, oh, when are people gonna set up in terms of getting the furniture that I need over to me because I'm not gonna have anything to have. For full context, again, I'm not gonna have any furniture. That means no bed, no desk, no couch, no nothing, no chairs, nothing. I have to buy everything from scratch. So that's gonna take like a few days to get shipped and then set up and then organized and then built and constructed, et cetera, et cetera. And then there's also the sort of problem with the internet provider. So I have to literally tomorrow morning, I'm gonna disconnect my router and stuff like that and discontinue the service I have here so I can start a new plan over at my new place. And that may take like a day or two. I don't know what the process is for that because it's a whole separate area. So that may take a bit. But once that is done, I imagine it's going to be within the first week or two of August. I am going to come back to VTubing. But what am I going to do when I come back to VTubing, you ask? Well, thank you so much, Chad, for asking. Number one, I will be uploading videos again further this time. I know that I have said on many occasions that I want to be uploaded videos, and I've wanted to do so. I've just never had the time or the energy to do it because of university and all that other crap that I just discussed previously. But thankfully, since that's tuned away, and I figured out like, oh, what I want to do, how I want to do things, et cetera, I'm gonna be doing videos. And there's so many things I've wanted to make videos about, not just in terms of gameplays, but also just commentary that I've wanted to do for months, and I just couldn't do it, and it's been so frustrating. uh, but you know, I will do plan on coming back to that. I will still stream. I want to make that very clear. I will still stream, all right? But I'm not going to be doing it as much because for me, I do enjoy streaming, but not as much as videos. I kind of like the sort of creative freedom that comes with videos, especially for ones such as commentary and like D&D and TTRPG stuff and stuff like that, which from the last 2 points you can see, but I'll get there in just a moment. I found more like creative fulfillment from that. And I know many of you will interject a point and be like, oh, well, if you stream more often and stream certain things, you can convert those streams into videos. Two birds with one stone, Corvo. And to that I say, no. For me, that doesn't work. The whole thing of like doing streams and then converting into videos sounds easy, but I've tried to do it in practice, and it's actually quite difficult, at least for the style and personality that I have. For me, it just feels like very strange to always constantly be in mind of like, oh, I have to organize my overlay in a certain way and behave in a certain way that's compatible for video, so that way there's no confusion in terms of the multimedia, kind of format there. And but I also have to act in a way that's compatible for stream as well. And it's just too much of a headache for me. I just rather keep things simple, keep one separate. I know technically from an efficiency standpoint, doing streams to then videos is very efficient and it's a good way to build up your audience. And I may do that in the future, but for right now, I prefer to keep those two separate. I may do shorts. The reason I say maybe is because of the fact that if I want to do it, then I will do it. If I don't, then I'm not going to do it. I don't really care about views that much right now. I kind of just want to do things, because I want to do them and because I feel fulfilled when I do them. Instead of being like, oh, this gets me the most views. I'm like, oh, in order to get monetized, I have to do this, this, and this. I don't really care. I'm just going to do what I want now. And I'm in a position to where I can do what I want. Not sure if this idea works, but hiring an editor could help. Then again, it varies based on which editor you're looking for. So it would be less videos from streams, but more so videos made off the stream and mixed together. Yes. So in terms of like hiring an editor, I've actually looked into that. I've looked into rates. I've looked into like working with various people for an extended period of time in order to procure a bulk discount. For me, there are a few reasons why I'm not going to pursue that route. Number one, I actually enjoy the creative process of editing and stuff like that, and I'm a very hands-on type of person. So it benefits me to be, involved with that process as much as possible at this current stage, as just doing it from like a purely entertainment and like, personal fulfillment type of perspective instead of like a business perspective, if that makes sense. Like, it doesn't really make much financial sense for me as somebody who's not a full-time creator or earning a lot of money, if at all, money from content creation to hire somebody for content creation. And editors, there are technically, editors on the cheaper and budget friendly side of things, but let me be fully transparent here. Editors who charge like $20 or 20 to $80 per video for like a 20 to 30-minute video that's like super edited and stuff like that, that is not enough money. The people who say that don't know how much work that goes into editing, okay? But yeah, if I ever do start making some like serious bank or like start really growing from content creation, I may look into that. But as of right now, it just really doesn't make much sense for me. Feel like editors are best when you are a full-time content maker and have to focus on making exactly. And even then, it could like be beneficial to have that more involved hand in the side of things. Again, I'll get to it in just a moment. You know, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fifth point. So I might also stop multi-streaming as if the start of this stream in terms of like the purple site glitching out on us was not an indicator. I'm not really satisfied with streaming on Twitch at the moment. I'm just kind of like at best indifferent about it. And I find streaming on both platforms when I'm like really starting to like get like views. Like back when I was like starting to get like really good traction on both sites, I found it draining on the purple site, but not the red site. And I think it's because of the fact that I find the red site just simpler to use and to interact with rather than the purple site. For whenever I stream on the purple site, I always feel this kind of like sense of like, oh, I always need to raid, I need to network, I need to set up all these redeems, I need to set up emotes, I need to do this, I need to do that. And it was just kind of like overwhelming to me. I know that's purely on my own doing in terms of like standards and obligations that I'm placing on myself, as there's no technical rule that says you need to do these things. Uh, but I just kind of really didn't enjoy it, and I've always enjoyed streaming on YouTube more. So I do apologize if you guys are a fan of the purple site. I may still do that, maybe, maybe not. I'm still figuring that out. I'll come back on a later day when I have a better consensus on that. I do prefer streaming on YouTube rather than Twitch, or in this case, red button, purple button. Yeah, exactly. And I feel like a lot of people give sort of don't give like YouTube enough credit in terms of like streaming there. YouTube is kind of more simple to use, IMO. Yes, 100%. It is 100% easier to use. The only thing that it's is kind of like not as simple to do with Twitch is like you have to set up like an actual like stream title and like thumbnail and stuff like that. But you know, once you get to the point where you know what you're doing with that kind of stuff, it just becomes sort of second nature. And I personally find it very enjoying and fulfilling. So I actually like that, you know, quote unquote added work to it. To be honest, I feel like YouTube is simpler and easier for streams from what I've heard. I would argue yes. So here's the thing. In terms of just, you know, booting up and going live, yes, Purple Site wins over YouTube any day of the week, 100%. But in terms of I would say in terms of reach, I would say in terms of the type of audience that you typically connect to, in terms of, you know, the average audience engagement. For me personally, this don't take this with a heavy grain of salt. This is a personal antidote. This is nothing, empirical evidence reviewed or stuff like that. This is just from my personal experience. I have always had more viewers, more engagement, more watch hours, and just better not so sussy weird people from YouTube. Okay. Like in terms of like the fulfillment and also like the people and amount of people that I reach, it's always been better on YouTube than it has ever on Twitch. And I don't see the point in, diverting people over towards Twitch, which is one, not something that I get a lot of return on. Two, not something I get a lot of fulfillment on. And three, is harder to maintain because of like, technical stuff. I'm kind of in the mindset of like, yes, I don't want to put all of my eggs in one basket, but the basket I've got right now is working pretty good with me, and I only got so many hands to hold so many baskets. And if I'm at a point where I'm being like, okay, I can't hold so many baskets, why not, drop the basket that's not giving me the most eggs, you know? Oh yeah, you stopped some streams because yes. Oh my God. I have horror stories from Twitch chatters. Like, and again, take this with a grain of salt. This is just my personal experience. Your mileage may vary. For me, chatters from YouTube have been way more normal and way more fun to interact with than Twitch chat on average. That's not to say people coming from the Twitch chat or people coming from Twitch watching on YouTube now were like are weird or stuff like that. It's just in terms of like on an average sense. Twitch, it seems like there is no sense of like viewer etiquette on Twitch, whereas on YouTube, people seem to be, normal for the most part. they put more, more socially adept, if that makes sense. Like, I don't mean to sound like a jerk, but it's just like I can't sit here and pretend as if reality and the experience that I've had don't exist. But here is some other things in terms of what other content you can expect from me in terms of like what specifically what kind of videos and kind of streams you can expect from me. So first of all, for this channel, this is going to be my main dedicated gaming channel, and maybe some kind of like funsy, I wouldn't say IRL, but kind of like stuff like, oh, here's like a fun little food challenge that we did. I'll probably go up to here. That's what this channel is mainly going to be. Um, there are two other channels that I'm going to start by the end of this year. One is going to be hopefully have its first video done at September at the latest, depending on like life, if it doesn't interfere much. And the other is going to be done hopefully by the end of this year, and we can start producing it either by late this year or early next year. So the commentary channel that I have is going to be involving sort of, again, don't freak out when I say this, be normal, please. Okay. Political, philosophical, and theological analysis. Okay. As I mentioned before, I love philosophy. I love political science. I studied it for a reason. And I've always wanted to do a channel where I analyze, rhetorical techniques, logical fallacies, do debate analysis, do analysis in terms of certain political ideologies, even debate other people in terms of certain issues like AI, for example, or, various hot button issues, not because I want to be like, oh, I want to own this side or own this person, or, because I want to get all the clout and stuff like that. It's because I genuinely find it very interesting and very fulfilling to discuss. And I like learning from other people, even those that I have very, very sharp disagreements with. And I kind of want to try my hand at that. I don't know how it's going to turn out. I don't know if I'm going to be doing it forever or stuff like that. But, I want to give it a shot. Oh boy, this will definitely have some of the negative audience. I mean, yes. I mean, don't get me wrong. I am fully knowledgeable about it. Even though I am going to try to approach this on like steel manning and approaching it on good faith as much as possible, and trying to be nice and stuff like that. I know for a fact that no matter what I do or what I say, the moment I dip my little pinky into that water, sharks will smell blood and they will coalesce for one way or another. I'm hoping it's not, too bad. I'm hoping it's not like overbearing or that it's the majority of what I get. I hope that, there's actually some good conversations I can have with people and good things that I can actually talk about and some progress that I can make, you know, but I still want to do it either way. And that kind of point is something I've been wrestling with for the past few months. The sort of fear of like, but in this day and age, we're never going to make any sort of progress. In this day and age, people don't care about like nuance. They just want, reactionary dunking on things, and they don't care about, actual consistency of one's argument, but rather just like, you know, kind of destroying the other side. And to an extent, there is definitely people there that do that. And there are undoubtedly, like, there are actually, like, studies done that show that certain social media platforms, like Twitter, for example, openly encourage, inflammatory rhetoric and inflammatory engagement because, the only thing that sells better than rage and sex and blood, the only thing that sells better than blood and sex is ultimately rage. That's the saying you know, but I still want to give it a shot. I want to try. It's kind of like, well, this kind of sounds like a bad comparison, but basically having the char, I can't fucking English. Charlie Kirk mentality, not looking to own or catch someone on a slip up, but just to have a discussion. I get what you're saying. This is where I feel like we might have a disagreement here. I'm not sure if Charlie Kirk is the best example of that, but I do get what you're saying of stuff like that. And yeah, I genuinely want to be honest and like want to have like genuine conversations with people. That's kind of what I'm getting at. Yeah, I get what you're saying, Darkbone. I'd be careful with some people, Corvo, especially since some of the more annoying content creators really push their political side to insane levels. Oh, don't get me wrong. I am fully aware of that. I am fully aware of the fact that even if, again, even if I approach on the best grounds possible and try to, you know, steel man and try to meet halfway and try to be like, as fair as possible. There are some people that are going to be like, you know what, I'm just going to be as trying to be like using manipulative rhetorical strategies as much as possible because, that's just the way things are. I forget the saying. What's the saying? What's the saying? It's hard to convince a man that he's wrong when his paycheck relies on it. Yeah, it's something like that. But again, it's always something that I'm coming back to. And even if though it might not work out, even though that it may just end up me getting dogpiled by certain creators or just the entire community, I genuinely want to try. I want to give it a shot. And it's also kind of like how this one YouTuber by the name of Joe Bart, yeah, Joe Bartolozzi, if that's the one you're referring to, unless there's another Joe Bart, who started off building a character and wanted to stop being a character and wanted to be someone. Yes, exactly. That's a really good one. That's a really good analogy. That's kind of the point where I'm at. Like, I'm kind of like at the point where it's like, I've always wanted to do this. I've kind of like played up exaggeration of certain bits, but I kind of want to be like more real and more like calm, if that makes sense. Like on like gaming streams and stuff like that, I've always found myself playing up, uh, you know, how I usually talk. Like, it's not, I don't like surprise, this may surprise some of you. Whenever I sit down and do a game, I don't talk aloud. I don't like verbally outspeak what I'm going to do next, come up with bits and stuff like that. There are some parts that I do intentionally for comedic effect, because of the fact, I'm here to entertain. I'm here to, play off of others, be an entertaining streamer to watch. But in terms of like my actual day-to-day life, I'm very much not like I'm kind of just an introvert, and I'm kind of like if you were to see me in real life, you would not guess that I was Corvo Paulo. The way that I present as Corvo Paulo is sort of like gremlin and stuff like that is part of me, but it's not my main part of me. Let's see here. I watch Corvo, but I'll not be watching that channel slash content. That's fine. Anyways, I'd be down to just have a discussion if anyone really like see where we agree with. Yeah, honestly, same here. I'm gonna be honest, Corvo. I can't promise that if I will watch that channel, not because I don't want to support you, but nowadays I'm trying to steer clear of politics for mental health. Again, that's totally valid. And again, if this kind of like content does not speak to you in terms of like, oh, philosophy or politics or debates or anything of that sort of or logic analysis or stuff like that, that's totally fine. I don't mind. I don't mind at all. I'm not going to be like angry at you or stuff like that because again, that it's not for everyone, and it's not something I'm going to be doing all the time because even as somebody who is very passionate about that kind of stuff, doing it 24/7 is not a good idea. But yeah, that's sort of like where I'm coming at for the commentary channel thing, and I'm hoping that you guys do check it out at least once to see if you like it or not. But if not, you know what? That's fine. I'm doing it for me. That leads me to the second thing though. D&D and TTRPG with other VTubers. This is actually something I teased a while back. I think I'm gonna see if I can get like the image here. Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. I got it somewhere. I got it somewhere. Oh my god, why is this all the way down there? Okay, hold on. D&D TTRPG? Yes. Okay, hold on. I think I showed this if I could. There we go. This image in my Discord a couple months ago. And this is something I've been cooking up for years. This is even longer than like the commentary channel that I just mentioned. I have been wanting to do a D&D slash TTRPG channel with like other VTubers in terms of like, critical role style campaigns where it's like a long play live stream kind of thing. And also like Dimension 20 sort of things where it's like pre-recorded, like shorter episodic campaigns, and also just like general commentary in terms of like the D&D slash TTRPG space because I love telling stories. I love D&D. I love hanging out with people like that. Uh, I've wanted to do this for so long. There's still a lot of work I got to do on it in terms of like finding the right people, coming up with campaigns, getting schedules done, et cetera, et cetera. Because unlike the commentary channel where I can just like boot up it at any time and just kind of like write everything and produce it all on my own accord, with this sort of channel, it's with other people, so it's going to take a little bit longer to set up. I'm hoping to have everything done and set up and ready to go by the end of this year. But no promises on that. No promises. So, Corvo finally wants to do his own Legend of Adventures. Yes and no. So, I have been a DM for the past 3 years. I've DM'd over 50 sessions, three full-length campaigns, and stuff like that. Uh, And I do want to run something. I'm not going to say what it is. I'm not going to give any spoilers. Not going to give any spoilers just yet. But I kind of want to do something that's more in the line of like a hybrid model in terms of critical roles, like long play live streams, kind of like serious campaigns, and also pre-recorded adventures that are like kind of like anthologies that Dimension 20 has. That's sort of like the approach I want to take with it because I find that just to be the most fulfilling and most interesting. I'm somebody as a DM that prefers like having like a solid start and solid end in mind for a campaign in terms of like the shorter side of things. Like typically my campaigns are only like 12 to 15 sessions long just because I prefer that shorter style, but I really want to try my hand at a longer style sort of campaign there. And I do have a campaign of mine that is a sort of deconstruction of a very typical campaign story that you guys see a lot. And I think you guys are really going to enjoy it, especially if I can get the people that I want involved with this. 15 sessions is quite good, to be honest. Thank you. Thank you. All of my players are so greedy. Like, oh, Corvo, we want more sessions. We want more. I'm like, this is this. I cook, okay. I'm not like the best DM in the world, okay. I'm not like a Matthew Mercer or Brennan Lee Mulligan. I'm quite decent at it, all right. But I listen. I can tell a full on story with 12 to 15 sessions, all right. Okay, I can tell that, especially if they're like 3 to 4 hours long, which is typically how we do. All right, we got that. I want to learn how to play D&D so badly, but I don't know anyone that plays it. Well, that may change. I-15 is nice short, but not too short of a game. Exactly, exactly. Like I know some fucking people are like, oh, we're gonna do 50 sessions. I'm like, no, no, 50 sessions I feel is a little bit extensive. And like at that point, it's kind of like D&D, yeah. Telling a story is not a problem. It's staying on track. Ooh. I mean, yes and no. Oh man, I got thoughts on that, but I'm getting way too sidetracked as it is. And I feel like if I go on that tangent, I'm just gonna end up prove your point. So I will be a coward and not do that. But yeah, I do want to play like D&D. Like one of the things I want to do for this sort of channel, this D&D channel, is ultimately having like people with it from like the chat, just maybe as like a one shot, just like get like a bunch of people who've never played D&D before, get them in, and just kind of like have this stream be like, hey, this is kind of like how you introduce newbies to the game because I've done that many a times before. It's been a lot of fun. And I love bringing people into the D&D sort of scene and just the TTRPG scene. Which an important little distinction here. The reason why I say it's a D&D slash TTRPG channel is I want to make it very clear D&D is not going to be the only system that we use on that channel. Some of the other systems I've looked at, for example, are Lancer. What's another one? Savage Worlds is something I've looked into. Call of Cthulhu, Brooms, Kids on Brooms or Kids on Bikes is one of those two. But yeah, a ton of different systems I wanted to incorporate that change according to the story that we want to tell. The first debate: can D&D stay on track without trying to do it for the funny? Exactly, exactly. Is the whole thing is like, was this planned or was this not? How much of this was improvised? How much of it was kind of just made up, and kind of like intended to go? Because I've had my many players be like, "Oh wow, I can't believe you came up with that on the spot," and like mentally in my head, I'm like, "No, I've had this plan for months, actually." Though I am flattered that you think I can come up with something so brilliant off of the top of my head, which sometimes I can, and sometimes I very much cannot. I'm not gonna lie. I've had my moments as a DM where I'm like, yeah, that was not the good call to make, or yeah, that was not a good session, you know? Mm. But yeah, I think that's pretty much all of the points that I wanted to make. And honestly, we've done pretty good. That's about an hour or so, not including the scuff beginning in terms of like catching up and me chatting with you guys in terms of what I want to do, where I've been, and stuff like that. But I guess like again, the TLDR, going back over to the TLDR, I'm gonna have to hide this thing now. I'm gonna put that back over here and hide that. Again, TLDR, I had to finish out University Strong. I had to really lock in. Two, I needed an actual break for mental health. Three, I needed time to hunt for the J word and preparing for moving. And I also just couldn't balance everything and do VTubing, so I decided to take a hiatus, but I'm coming back. That's the TLDR. There's a lot of very exciting things in the work that I cannot wait to finally do. I really want to spoil. I really want to spoil what I've like been working on behind the scenes of what I want to do, like and give actual specifics. But I'm like, "Hmm, we're so close to it actually coming to fruition. Why not just get it to that point instead of spoiling something and potentially ruining the hype for it? I don't know. But yeah, it's been. I've genuinely missed you guys, and thank you guys so much for sticking around and checking in and doing stuff like that. I am going to be streaming a ton of different games, like J Word, Sonic the Hedgehog, the J Word, the most horrifying thing in ever. You don't want to know. It's something that haunts us all. That comes for us. Really glad you are doing better. I'm actually doing really better. And again, I really wish that I could just like pick it up and go and start streaming right now and getting back into the hang of things and doing the videos. But that stupid move that I have makes it to where I have to wait like an extra week or two. So yeah, um, I will be going offline for a few days. Mainly because like, well, I say offline, but I'm still gonna have my phone and mobile data, so I can like still pop in Discord and say hello. But in terms of like playing with others and like making stuff or working on things in terms of like VTuber stuff or content creation, it's gonna take me a little bit because of the move. But once I do return, it meant like man, there's so many things I wanted to do for so long, and now that I'm finally free of like the major time sink that has been in my life for like the past 2 years, I'm so excited to get back into it. But yeah, that's kind of like the major thing going on there. Again, I apologize for not really having a practice for this and stuff like that. I literally just kind of like made all of these slides within like the past 30 minutes. So if I missed something, I'm sorry. Feel free to ask me questions in the Discord, which you can find in the description if you want to check that out. Yeah, this was again a super scuff, unpracticed, and overdue spiel. Shout whilst we in the Corvo drought, we can rewatch videos and yeah, mandatory. Give me my watch hours. I've lost so many. Wait, hold on. Where's my sad expression? Is this one? No. This one. No. This one. No. This one. Yes, there we go. I've lost so many watch hours. I'm never gonna get YouTube partner at this rate. Oh. Is there a age requirement on the Discord server? Yes, you have to be 18 or older in order to join, unfortunately. Even though my content is rated PG-13, and even though like if you have a parent or legal guardian that gives you permission to watch my content, that's all right and stuff like that. Even if a parent or legal guardian gives you permission to join my Discord server, I don't allow minors in my Discord server. I used to, but then I always found like the people on the younger side just did not know social etiquette and stuff like that, and frequently just broke rules. I'm like, you know what? I could deal with this. I could make it a cool space for everybody involved, but at the same time, that seems like a headache I don't want to deal with. So, any games that has your attention or you played? So, I've actually played a ton of games. In terms of like what I've been doing my hiatus, I replayed the entire Bioshock series, which I have a lot of thoughts about that. Infinite sucks. Uh, I've also played. What else have I played? I'm gonna have to break out my Steam library. Hold up. I got receipts. Hold up. I played Mecha Chameleon. That's another one. Batman the Telltale series. Let's see here. Borderlands, I did that. I did Peak, which that needs an update for some reason. Peppered is another one. I bought Power World. I still want to get around to playing that. Let's see what else. Let's see what else. What else? What else? Borderlands, played that. Warhammer 40K Bolt Gun. That was another thing. I need to finish that. Some other fun edutainment games. Ahead in time. I also want to get into Deltarune Chapter 5. I haven't bought that yet, but I do plan on doing that. I bought Subnautica 2. I want to get into that. Disco Elysium, that's been in my library for a while now. I replayed, I didn't replay it. I played Destroy All Humans 1 and 2 remake. That was a fun little revisit towards my childhood. That's what I've been doing in the past. God, what else have I played that people have actually be interested in? Let me check my perfect games. I've been trophy hunting a lot lately. Wait, didn't you plan to make videos on the games you played or just commenting on the story direction game? Uh, I thought about that. I'm still deciding on that. If so, if I do decide to do that, then that's going to be another channel. I'm very interested in doing that, but I'm kind of like trying to take things a little bit slow, if that makes sense. Vampire Survivor has been playing that. Let's see here. Left 4 Dead 2, been playing that. Blood Rain, played that. Again, a nice revisit to my childhood. Let's see here. Henry Stickmin, shout out to them. Let's see. Poly Armory Poly Armory High Caliber Love. That was a nice little free game that I played during my hiatus. Don't Escape Trilogy. That's another one. Let's see here. What other one? A Germa fan game at some point, apparently. Let's see. A free game called Your Average Bear, which is pretty fun. Let's see. Some like hidden object games, which I actually unironically loved. Franklin, like, hi, no long time. Hi, you came in right at the end, Franklin. I was just reminiscing about like what all I've done in terms of gaming during my sort of 5 month hiatus. But yeah, it's not too much. Most of my time has been like in the Bioshock series, which hot take, Bioshock 2 is the best one. I know. Some people are gonna hate me for that. I know it, but that's the truth. Let's see, Vampire, that's another one. Let's see, Tomb Raider, that's another one. Play through the Tomb Raider reboot series and stuff like that. But yeah. All right, I'll take see you later, Corvo. Take care of yourself. Yeah, and Bioshock Infinite sucks. Yeah, no worries, Bomb. Thank you so much for stopping by. And Bioshock Infinite sucks. Yeah, it's not a bad game. It's just the more that I think about it, especially from a narrative standpoint, the more I don't like it. I may have to make a video on that. Who knows? Completely fair. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, oh man, I can't wait for what's the new 40K? There's another if Warhammer Survivors. That's the new Warhammer game coming out soon. I think there's another one if I'm not mistaken as well. And I got to play Dark Tide as well because that's been my library for a while now. And I got people who've been like, "Oh, hey, you want to play this?" And I haven't actually got around to playing it. Oops. But is Dead Space 3 bad? Yes, yes. There are some redeeming qualities about it. There are some stuff that I like, but overall, it's just a very unenjoyable game for me and I think it's very poorly constructed. Is it? I mean, yes, I would argue so. Bolt Gun 2, yes, that's the other one. Yes, Bolt Gun 2 is getting the sequel. Duh. I can't believe I forgot about that. And I think they actually came out with a demo for it a couple of weeks ago as well, if I'm not mistaken. Peppered, yeah, that's another one. That's another game that I need to finish up playing. Peppered, an existentialist like a little platformer, which I really enjoy. I got like 3 endings so far out of 11, so I got to go back and do some more of that. But unfortunately, as I said before, once this stream is done, I'm turning off my PC and putting everything into a box. Yeah, you can play as a sister battle. Yeah, I saw that. I actually really am excited to do that. The Sisters of Battle are badass, all right? If I could get like Warhammer like figurines and get actually like, into the game of it, I want my salamanders, I want the Sisters of Battle, and I want my Blood Angels, all right? Those are the three that'll be like my main like peeps there, you know? I respect it. Arcadians are also pretty fun, I've heard. Uh and maybe the Tau just because I want people to hate me. They're just kidding. No one likes the Tau. No one should have played the Tau. I know I thanked you for showing me the Guilty Gear Strive a while ago, but like you also showed me the fighting games and now I love them. It's not, oh, thank you. Yeah. Marvel Tokon. Yes, that's going to be coming out soon. I think in a couple weeks from now. And I can't wait to play that. Personally, I'm going to be maining my boy Blade because he seems the closest to Biken in terms of like general play style. And you guys know how I am about like having like counters in games. I love like in fighting games, like doing a simple special move and then being like, no, my turn now. I love like Biken's Azami in freaking Rev 2, where once you get a counter, you basically get like a mix up. Loved that. Loved that. And Blade seems right up my alley in that aspect. August 6th, yeah. I mean, I may pre-purchase it. I may have to look into that. Let me look at this, getting a sip of water because my throat is dry. You can definitely tell I'm not used to streaming and talking this much for like an hour or so because of the fact that my throat is dry and I'm, you know, having trouble talking. Ah, I really want some of the fighting games like Tokon and the Avatar games to succeed. I keep hearing things about the Avatar game. I'm kind of more excited for Tokon because that just seems like more up my alley in terms of arc system and the like. I may look into the Avatar game, but as a guy with like a finite budget, I have to pick and choose, and sometimes I have to make the tough choices. And I may have to choose Marvel Tokon over the Avatar game. Like 99% sure that is going to be the case. Yeah. But that's pretty much like the main thing of things. Oh, another thing. Community events. This is something I didn't actually put in my slide, but community events. Once I'm settled in, I'm actually going to be going back to doing that and hanging out with you guys in terms of doing community events and stuff. And I'll be reformatting the Discord with like a few changes, just for my personal preference and the like. Because I know, like, I was like, oh, we're gonna be having community nights for like game nights and movie nights, and then I never got around to doing that because I kept overworking myself. So we'll actually be doing that now that I have like free time. Supposedly, the Avatar game is a 1v1 with supports. That's $30. Oh, I didn't know it was $30. Oh, that's not bad. I know a Tokon is like a $60 one. So, yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to look into that. But yeah, that's my sort of that's my super scuff, unpracticed, overdue spiel at the moment. I know that we've been going over a little bit longer than I originally said. So I'm going to actually end the stream right here. If you want specific updates as to like when I'm coming back and what I'm going to be doing and like when I actually upload, what I actually upload, please join the Discord, but only do so if you are 18 and older. All right. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. Thank you guys so much for saying hi. Thank you, Elias. Thank you, Taggy. Thank you, Ethor. Thank you, Kai. Thank you, Bum. Thank you, all of you people. I really do appreciate it. But yeah, I'm going to see you guys soon. Thank you for the stream. I hope we can do better for your mental health. I will. And I might, trust me, I can't give too many details right now because I don't want to, again, I don't want to dox myself, but I'm in a really good spot right now. Things are looking up pretty good. I'm going to keep updating you guys, even though I will be quote unquote offline. I'll still be in the Discord and you can still reach out and talk to me. Feel free to say hi to other peeps and stuff like that. And yeah, I'm going to talk to you guys later. I'm very excited for the future. And yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, that's really all I can say. Cheers for the stream, Corvo. Hope the move goes smoothly. As do I. I hope that my furniture comes in soon. Okay, here's a fun little Corvo lore drop. I had to get rid of my queen size bed like a month ago, like on June 11th. For over a month now, I've been sleeping on a couch that I have not been able to fully stretch out in, and it's been absolute agony, and I have to throw out that couch tomorrow. So I'm going to be sleeping on the floor, and I'm going to be sleeping on the floor in my new place until I get a new bed. Because I couldn't fit the bed in my truck. Well, technically it's a car, but you know how it is. Yay! I really miss sleeping in a bed. Hopefully we get that in soon. Gulp. Anyways, thank you guys so much for stopping by. I'm gonna end stream here. I'll keep you guys updated. Let me know what you guys want to see in the future. And yeah, thank you so much. It's so exciting and so awesome to be back. I'm so excited. But anyways, bye, 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 bye.